What's going on, Solid Steppers and Techs to Titans? Welcome to the Tech to Titan podcast, part 2 with Terry the Electrician. We was getting hot and heavy on the last one, so we're getting ready to pick up where we left off. We left off with profit first, the 5 bank accounts. So we want to get a little more into that structure and talk about that at length. You know, Terry was going into about how he eventually got his books in order and got his life in order and the differences made in his life. So, you know, we're trying to make sure that you guys miss some of the pitfalls that we have fallen in and may still be in. Okay, so I'm going to turn everything over to Terry and let him go at it.
Yeah. So, like we were saying from the last show, we was talking about, you know, breaking down finances with the 5 bank account systems. 5 bank account system that we use is loosely based on the profit first system. It's just been modified to fit service businesses and our particular businesses in particular. And what that allowed me to do is once I took and dispersed the money from the operating account into the tax account, the profit account, the owner's compensation account, once I did that, once that was taken care of, then I see how much I got to operate the business on. And what Mike McCallowitz talks about is it forces you to run your business lean. It forces you to streamline your expenses and your operations to run your business more efficiently, because if the money is not there, you'll soon realize that there's some things you have to do, right? And as we know, cash flow is the lifeblood of any business. Okay, it's funny that cash and blood has this correlation, or money and blood has this correlation, because if blood doesn't circulate, the body dies. If money doesn't circulate, the business dies. Okay, so that correlation is not coincidental in my mind. I think it's set up like that for a reason, to give us a deeper level of understanding of just how important this thing really is, you know, to the function of not only just our business, but society as a whole. Okay, so that's why cash flow is so important to any business. It is the lifeblood. You got to have that cash coming in. Now, being that we are, for the most part, involved in service businesses, that automatically gives us a steady cash flow. Okay. And if for some reason you're struggling and you don't have the cash flow, there's some things that you can look at immediately to figure out what's going on. Okay, because there's only 4 ways to grow a business. All right. Get more leads, get more sales, get more per transaction, more money per transaction, or increase your average ticket, and get more transactions per customer. Okay, that's it. That's the only 4 ways you can grow a business. So you have to look at one of those. You got to look at all 4 of those to see where you're slacking. Okay, so either you increase your lead flow, you improve your sales conversions, you improve your customer ascension, or increase your average ticket. The best way to do that is raise your prices. All right, right off the rip. All right, and you increase your customer retention, which means you get callbacks and referrals. Right. And as simple as that sounds, I'm not going to sit here and act like it's easy to do, because it's not easy, but it is simple to understand if you can once you wrap your mind around it. You know what I mean? So what would you add to that, Rochelle?
Well, I wholeheartedly agree. You know, you have always, I might as well just have a t-shirt. What the t-shirt say? Charge accordingly. That is my word. Charge accordingly. But in order to charge accordingly, you got to show up like a professional. I mean, everything goes hand in hand. I had the first day of a ride along. A lot of times, you know, you guys will see it in the link. We offer 3-day ride alongs. First day is with Miss Ward. Second day is with one of my roundtable members, and the third day is with another roundtable member. And that way you get exposed to everything. So I'm riding with the young man today, and he's asking me these questions. And he's watching how I move. And I took him to the customers I deal with, how I choose the zip codes, where I work, how everything. He's like, at this point, I don't even have to pay for leads, but I run my business a different way. So at the end of the day, you got to have a business model that works for you. So if you're going to pay for the leads, how are you going to convert those leads? Like every choice you make is a decision. How are you going to convert those leads and make sure you're not wasting your money on the leads? How are you tracking how much you're spending? What zip codes are you spending the leads in? Things of that nature all affect how you do business. And then once you get your ideal clientele, how are you going to manage them and service them? And how are you going to prioritize who you service and how? Like there are levels to this. And this is why I have the roundtable I have, and I deal with people like Terry, Lamar, Slick, Darian, David, Q, all these people I deal with, because we're out here every day and we're sharing information in our different markets to help each other be better. We all have the same struggles you guys have, but the difference with us is that we stay at it every day and we don't stop. And then we study and show ourselves approved. That's another thing. Okay, because just like we're sitting here talking about profit first, anybody that's following Mr. Sneed, he says profit first all the time. Book yourself solid. That's JT. So I mean, at the end of the day, how much game we gonna give y'all free 99ers? Yes, I said it because y'all know how I feel about that. The reality is invest in yourself. Whatever you're making, 10%, a minimum of 10%, just like you tied, 10% needs to be invested in your professional development, whether it be technical expertise, whether it be managing a business. You got to be willing to put that money aside, buy some of these courses, and apply what works for you, and constantly tweak it. And that's why it's important. So everything that Terry has stated about what you need to get more revenue, first thing you need to do is look in the mirror and look at yourself and look at your discipline and your habits. Do you know how to manage money? Are you getting a little bag and out here flossing? You got to go get the new kicks, the new Xbox, all this other mess that's not an investment in you. Are you a consumer or an investor? Are you investing in yourself? At the end of the day, you have to decide, are you going to be an adult in business? Or are you going to be a child? That's what I have to add.
Okay.
Yeah, ask me how I really feel. You know how.
If you don't want to know, don't ask.
What? I mean, like, let me just add one more thing. I was talking to Terry before the show about the ride along person. The person that rode along with me is actually an IT professional, which lets you know how much people are looking at our market. And he was sharing with me about these large equity firms that are investing in home service businesses and buying companies. Like prime example, one of the gentlemen that offers a scholarship through ASTI, he had a large repair company in Canada. And the gas company, the utility company, purchased his appliance repair company because they wanted to get in the business. At the end of the day, y'all better watch the game. After all these major companies are going to start gobbling up the little guys, and then they're going to monopolize. So at the end of the day, you need to be moving the way the large companies are. But because you can pull out the Lean Six Sigma, shout out to Lamar, you can move and maneuver quicker than they can, but you got to have the vision. You can't look right here. You got to look that way. And that goes back to, nothing I'm saying should be foreign to you if you are truly working on your business. And if you don't understand, do what y'all do, YouTube and Google it. But the reality is that there's so many people trying to use old ways to do business, and that ain't the game. What you got to do is put things in place that are working and that will transition. Like all of us have had the lesson of COVID and watching businesses around us shut down, businesses that we used to visit, enjoy going buying food from, and they couldn't make it because they were not able to adapt and change. So now that y'all have had this test run, y'all need to get ready, because this particular industry is not going to be open much longer. You hear Mike say it, everybody say it, because the government, everybody gonna want a piece of the pie. And the only way to everybody can get a piece of pie is to regulate it. And you heard Terry talk about how he has to keep his licenses up, and that's not cheap. They have to constantly be certified, allegedly, to protect. And that's why they're constantly dealing with people who coming in sideways, shade trees, undercutting budgets and things of that nature. Then people want them to come back and fix it because they didn't use some shade tree. We see the same thing in appliance repair every day. But the reality is, how are you setting up your business? Number one, for the long run. Number two, so that it can be changed and morph into whatever's needed. You should be already focused. You should be studying what's happening and the trends, and you should be solidifying your business so that it can switch into those areas that are underserved and still profitable. And that's how I manage my business.
Yeah, it's what you was talking about on this whole regulation thing. Yeah, we have to renew our license every 2 years. And it's it is what it is. I ain't tripping about it. But because I knew coming in the gate, that's what I was gonna have to do. You know what I mean? But it's funny because I know some people who got licensed who aren't the sharpest tools in the drawer. And I know people who don't have license who can run circles around them. Mm-hmm. But they can't pass that test. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? They just can't pass that test. But when it comes to doing the work out in the field, superstar. You know what I mean? But at the same time, the thing is, a lot of people out here now lack confidence in themselves and in their abilities. If you lack confidence in your abilities, there's only one way to combat that. And it ain't by listening to motivational speakers and watching, ET on video. I love ET, but you can watch all the motivational speeches you want. That ain't gonna help you. Competence breeds confidence. That's true. Confidence comes from competence. Get your skills up. As you get your skills up, guess what? Your confidence is naturally going to rise.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And then here's the other thing. Here's the other piece. For me in particular, talking about the shade trees, I don't compete with them guys. I used to. I don't compete with them no more. When you learn how to sell your value, you no longer have to compete on price.
Facts.
I have no competition, and I'm in Metro Atlanta. Let me say that again, because that's not a brag. I have no competition. Why do I say that? Because ain't nobody out there. There's only one Terry the Electrician. One. Ain't nobody can be me better than me.
Facts.
See what I mean? I'm not trying to be Mr. Sparky. Right? I'm not trying to be Lightning Bug Electric. Smart Wire Solutions stand on its own name. I have built my brand, and I built that brand in a short period of time. I still have people to this day call the business name of my first electrical business, still call me by that name to this day. And that was 22 years ago that I started that company. Now I have no shame in admitting that within 3 years of starting my first electrical business, I had to file bankruptcy because I didn't know how to run a business. I didn't know what the freak I was doing. It's plain and simple. Ain't no shame in my game.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's what people don't understand. They have to come out here and take these blows to learn. Now, if you're smart, you sit here and take notes and get you a mentor and pay them accordingly for the shortcut. But at the end of the day, ain't nothing out here free. I'm trying to tell you.
I wish I had found a mentor 20 years ago. I wish. I tried to get my old boss to mentor me somewhat, but he was like, he saw the writing on the wall with me. He was cool with me. He would help me out. But as far as like a mentorship type thing, he just was not that person. Mm-hmm. He just plain and simple. He was not that person. He was not a mentor type person. Mm-hmm. It wasn't in it. But I learned a lot from just observing the man. You know what I mean? How he moved, how how he priced things. I remember going to him one time and asking him about, I was doing some stuff over the VA, and one of the superintendents over there was having a house built, and they wanted me to wire the house. Well, at the time, I wasn't doing any residential, didn't know anything about residential. I was straight commercial industrial at the time, you know. And so I went to Steve, my old boss, and asked him how to price the job. He said, well, I don't do residential, so I don't really know, but I would price it just like commercial. And guess what I did? I put a commercial price on it, and they looked at me like I had three heads when I gave them the price, because it was so much higher than what the going rate was for the market at the time. They was like, wow, why would you charge that much? Well, that's how much I know to charge. That's, you know what I mean? Because I didn't know residential.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? But it took some time for me to get, I did find a mentor in the residential space who actually was somebody that worked for me. But he had the residential experience.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So he mentored me in the residential area. And then once I got into the residential space, we just took off running. We took over residential renovation in the fix and flip market in my area. We basically took it over. You know what I mean? So we wired so many houses, I mean, I couldn't even count them. Because we was running just like that. We was running like that. I mean, just boom, 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 boom. So you find somebody, here's the thing. If you want to advance or get good at something, or level up your game at something, you find somebody who's already doing what you want to do and pay them to teach you or coach you. Point blank, period. If you're really serious about getting to that next level, I mean, here's the thing. Rochelle asked me about, you know, how I invest my money. I invest my money up here first so I can up level my game, so I know what the things I need to do to level my business up to generate more income, more revenue for my business. So now my business can throw off more income to improve my lifestyle. I mean, that's not a hard equation to figure out. So in doing that, I seek out people that's where I want to be. And I seek out, see, here's another thing. I seek out people in certain areas. I don't look for a one size fit all anything.
There you go.
You see I don't look for one size fits all anything. Clothes, definitely not coaches. I look for coaches in specific areas of expertise so I can get direct, specific information, expert information from that person, so I can get from point A to point B as quickly and as fast as possible, which ultimately leads me to the fastest path to cash. All business, the purpose of all business is to make a profit. If your business ain't making a profit, your business is an expensive hobby, or maybe just another overworking job. If you just breaking even, you ain't really got a business. You got a job. So it's up to you as the entrepreneur, as the business owner, to do whatever it is you need to do to get to that next level, whatever your next level is. We're not trying to tell you to jump where we at. You know what I'm saying? We're saying whatever your next level is, do what you got to do to get there. But you got to be willing to pay the price, because we paid it. I paid it over years. I'm talking about years before I got a real clue about how to shortcut, so to speak. I mean, ain't no real shortcuts, but I'm saying how to shorten the learning curve. That's what I meant. How to shorten that learning curve to give me enough of a boost to, you know, to go ahead and get that momentum going, so I can run with this thing like I want to run with it. And now, like I said, I don't consider any electrician in the city of Atlanta or the state of Georgia, for that matter, as my competition. Why? Because I've carved out my own niche. When you get to a point, you can do the same. Rochelle has carved out her own niche perfectly down here in South Florida. I mean, just doing the damn thing, just the way she want to do it. You know what I mean? I'm looking at her like, wow, I need to be more on that tip, because it's inspired me to step my game up several more levels. Why? Because we deal with high-end customers. And that market is wide open.
Yeah.
Man, please, that market, look, speaking electrical, why do you think Mr. Sparky is nationwide? To me, Mr. Sparky is outright. Well, I'm not even gonna throw no salt on nobody. Everybody know about Mr. Sparky. Everybody know about them prices. You know what I mean? Everybody know about Mr. Sparky, but Mr. Sparky ain't the only one. There's a whole lot of them because they all go to some of the same training, sales training, and I know where a lot of them go to get the sales training that teach them how to go in there and I'm just gonna say it, gouge people. Now, I'm not gonna put that on the trainers because I don't know none of the trainers that go out there and actually tell you to do that. Exactly. I know it's being done because people tell me. You know, I come behind them. I come behind all of them. All these big boys around here, I come behind all of them. You know what I mean? But like I said, I treat my customers a certain way. So, you know, we can move past, you know, past the profit first for a minute and go into that fourth area of customer retention or getting more transactions per customer is how you treat your customers. It's the level of service that you bring and the service excellence that you exhibit while you are in the customer's home.
Facts.
That is the most, you know, I can't stress that enough. I can't stress that enough. So I want to, you know, let you at least, you know, elaborate a little bit more on that one too, because I know how you roll when it comes to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of people don't have, like you said, confidence. And like I said, you can go in any area and dominate, but I feel what you need to do is you got to go in and you got to be prepared to pay the price, because what most people don't understand when it comes to business, I didn't get where I am by not making mistakes. I lost a lot of money, made a lot of enemies, stepped on a lot of toes because of my personality. But the point is, I was able to deal with that. I knew who I was. And I have always used, and you hear me say this all the time, other people's prejudices and ignorances to my advantage. Please underestimate me, because all you gonna end up doing is working for me or coming to me for something. You know, at the end of the day, business is business. So, you know, whether you do high end or whatever you do, you have to have a plan. Like, there are so many things that Terry and I talk about that we don't discuss on the podcast. We don't talk about the dislocated worker program, the training programs, the pipeline to success for the trades, and just not those other pieces of us not only giving back, but actually bringing in a whole nother level of entrepreneurs for the trade that walk and talk the way we do. See, the game is to go out here and to put knowledge in the right places, put the training programs in the right places, and to support whoever we're training. Like, there's so many levels. Like I'll be doing a podcast with one of my mentees in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is 99% opportunity zone. There's so much opportunity there. And I'm blessed to have people on the ground there. Now, I was joking with somebody. I was like, yeah, that's going to be the vacation spot. But the reality is, you know, I love Puerto Rico, hardworking people, you know what I mean? And it's just one of those places that is actually part of America, in my opinion, you know? So the reality is, we should be having a global outlook no matter what we do. People come to our country and they come and they excel. I was just talking to this young man who happens to be of Indian descent that was on the ride along, and we were talking about those cultural experiences and how certain groups come here, they learn a trade and they teach the people in their family and their collective group, and then they come and dominate. Everybody move in the same house, everybody rolling with an 850 credit score. You know what I mean? Put the house in grandma's name or whatever we gonna do. You feel me? Pay all the bills, split it, and stick together. So I don't understand the hate. At the end of the day, take lessons be humble enough. Just like Terry just stated about how someone that worked for him taught him the residential game. A lot of my subs and people that work with me teach a lot of things that I know. I'll go ride with them. Like one guy, he was shocked that I was there. I came to check on him and something happened, and I went to the truck and got my tool box. I'm like, he's like, Miss Ward pulled out her tool. I thought it was funny to me because I'm supposed to do, stand here and twiddle my thumbs. That's not how I operate, but that's also how I get the respect that I get because I am in the field. But with all that said, you have to decide what works for you. And I feel that most people, because they don't come from an entrepreneurial background, they stuck in that W-2 mode. It's very difficult for them because they have, like Mike Sneed says it all the time, we have been trained. I need a book. I need to pass a class. I need to do this. I got to have the blueprint. When y'all don't understand, the blueprint came from you in the first place. It's in your DNA. There's certain words that I can't say on this podcast. Let's say chocolate innovation. Okay.
Don't hurt them, Hammer.
At the end of the day, when you're very clear about who you are, you step up in that. So, because if we were really doing what we need to do, all this crime, all this and that would not be happening. Because y'all keep forgetting, who were the original craftsmen? Who were the original, what? Let's talk about Mr. Herndon down in Atlanta. When you looked at some of those barbershops and the craftsmanship from the carpenters, what did those carpenters look like? I mean, who was working on the plantation, building this and doing, let's just keep it a buck. And the reason why we did so well post certain eras was because these people went into town, made their money. They were the blacksmiths. And I'm trying to understand, where did it go? It's in your DNA. So we should dominate the trades. Everybody wants to talk about people being locked out. Ain't nobody locked out now, not with YouTube. You know, at the end of the day, everybody can get in where they want to fit in. And I'm just say this and people gonna hate on me. You got 99 Academy that's giving free training. Say what y'all want to say with it about it. Okay. I don't go over there, but I know it exists. The reality is you got people from other spaces and places that go over there and get that little bit they get from there and they run with it. Like they so happy to get out here and make money, like on a whole nother level that we take for granted. Oh, there ain't no money. Well, it's some money to them. And they build on it and they build their skill set and they follow Robert Greene mastery, 10,000 hours. Like come on, people. The reality is you gotta choose to be better. Like right now, when I finish with Terry, believe it or not, Miss Moore has to open her Eric Flanert book because I made a commitment to myself. I'm gonna do a chapter or a portion a day because I need to review that book. I got the troubleshooting piece, but I need to go back over some things because anywhere, my focus right now for me personally and my team is refrigeration. So we deal with refrigeration, ovens, stoves, dryers, and microwaves. At the end of the day, those are my most profitable places. And also I can turn them quickly and get profit because that's how I run my business, but I better know what I'm doing. And there have been plenty of times I come out of a job and I'll pick up the phone and call one of my subs and say, this is what it seems to me. These are the pictures and images. I just need to confer with you to make sure that you agree this is what this job is and what it needs. That I have no shame in that because my job, going back to service, is to make sure that I'm taking care of this customer and I don't have any callbacks. And because I know that I'm not as experienced as some of the people I work with, I respect them, whether they work for me, with me or not. I'm not going to have an issue with a customer because I had too much pride. Pride to get you broke.
Yeah, keep you there.
Yeah. So, like I said, we were talking earlier about the book club. I think that's a great idea. So I'm just looking forward to all the things that's coming to pass.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we got some big things coming down the pipeline. And here's the thing, not everybody wants to blow their business up. Not everybody wants to have, multiple 6 or 7 figure businesses. I get that. I understand that. Okay, good. Right. Then 99% of what we saying ain't for you. It is what it is. Ain't no hard feelings. I'm gonna love you like a play cousin anyway. But for the ones who want to take it to that next level, from whatever level you're at right now, Tech the Titan is that vehicle that can get you there. Trust and believe when I tell you that. You know what I mean? We are pouring our expertise, our experience, and really our blood, sweat, and tears, because that's what has built my companies. Blood, sweat, and tears. And I said companies because I have had multiple companies over the years. Long before I got my electrical license, I had a business. So again, I feel like this is in my blood. You know what I mean? It just took me, it took what it took for me to realize and figure it out that this was what that's what it was. But once I got it figured out and I got on the right path, then I had to stumble my way through to figure out how to actually make all this shit work. You know what I mean? So it took what it took. Every person got their path. They gotta walk to get to their destination. So what we're offering with Tech the Titan is a guide along that path, because a lot of times we've already been down that path you're trying to go down. You know what I mean? So, and that's what a coach and a mentor does. Take you by the hand and guide you down the path that they've already been down. You see what I'm saying? So in a nutshell, I mean, that's what we're doing. At the end of the day, that's what we're doing. And then we bounce things off each other on the regular to get stronger and to make our things work a little bit smoother. There's so much for me to learn from Rochelle when it comes to systems and processes. I don't even know where to start.
Well, I'm gonna show them something right now, because people hate when you put numbers up. So I'm on this ride along, right? And I've been working with ProConnect maybe about 5 months, kind of part-time. And I showed him, I said, in 5 months with systems in place, this is what I did. 5 months, that's 104,000. 5 months. And that ain't my main bread and butter. 104,000 with a third party. Cash. People out here playing. That's what's been paid to me. In 5 months just for that. And then I got all my other ventures. I got my regular cash customers. I got my warranty. And the reason I put that up there is the only reason I'm able to do that is strategy. And the reason I use strategy is because I walk this. You gotta put the customer in line with your skill set and your ability to turn the profit and have access to the parts. So when I was on the ride along with the gentleman today, I showed him, number one, how before I go to the job, I'm already pre-grading. I've already looked up the parts. I already look at the availability. So when the customer asks, I got the answer right there. I give them everything they need. And before I go, I've already vetted the customer. See, I vet my customers. I know who's going to spend money, who's not. I know what their reservations are and what, and the key is that is a skill set. You don't have time to be listening to hip hop when you're on your way to a customer. And I love hip hop. You ain't got time to be talking to your girlfriend on the way to the customer. Your whole focus, and y'all got to realize I only do an average of 4 to 5 calls a day, if that. And I do it that way because I want to know that I have to focus on each customer to get the maximum profit and give them maximum service. That is my model. Now, the ride along gentleman is going to be riding with David tomorrow. David is warranted. So this guy does 10 calls or more a day, but he also pulls down the warranty bag. I ain't going to put his numbers out there, but if I'm rolling with you, you better be rolling. So at the end of the day, y'all got to figure out what y'all going to do, because the system is out here and you are needed. And what people don't understand, there are no techs. The older techs are aging out, and the techs that are in place, they want to work on what they want to work on, So what you do is find what is needed and then excel at that. That's all I got to say. That's it for me.
That's what I've done with the electrical field, because I know I do a lot of things that the average electrician don't even think about doing. You know what I mean? I've taken on some projects, and I take them on intentionally. So I can get that experience and get that under my belt. That way, I write my own ticket.
There you go.
I rarely get, when I give a price, I rarely get a pushback on a price. And again, this ain't no brag. 9 times out of 10, my customers that call me now, they don't even ask me how much it costs. They tell me what they need and just ask me, when can I come do it? Come on, man. It took me 20 years to get to that point. Yeah. But for the last couple of years, that's how I've been riding.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just, the end of 2019, I was like, this shit got to change. And guess what? It's changed.
You go.
2020, once I made that flip, all of 2020 was good. That was my foundational building stage, me figuring out which direction I really want to go, if I wanted, how I wanted to shape this thing. 2021, I worked maybe 3 days a week, the whole year.
There you go. But see, you can do that when you swinging in the sweet spot. But there's process.
And see, here's the other thing. You may see me, because I'll put up videos on Facebook or what. You may see me, I might be out on a Sunday, I might be out on a holiday. But what you don't see is when I'm at the crib on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. When I ain't out there running. So I pick the day, I get to choose when I'll get out there and run hard and heavy. And a lot of times I run hard and heavy because I got a mission in mind, or I got something that I'm working on for a particular customer, and it just needs to get done in a certain period of time. I'm doing custom home theaters. I'm not gonna even go into what all I do, because like I said, I know the skill set that I have is rare. And that's because of the experiences that I've had and the mentors and teachers and trainers that I have been under. I mean, a lot of my whole foundation came from being in the Air Force. I got to touch some of everything when I was in the Air Force, all different types of systems. You know what I mean? So that foundation right there alone was enough to get me out the gate and get me out here in the mix. But once I got out here in the mix and I got the networking and meet with people, I mean, I worked with this company and we was working on pawn shops. I'm gonna try to keep this brief. We was doing these pawn shops, and they're all over the state of Georgia, and this particular chain is in the Southeast, and I think they're home based out of Texas. So they come all the way across from Texas all the way over to Georgia. And we was working, and they called it, this guy, he was the IT guy. So the company that I was working for, we was doing the construction or the renovations for the buildings to put the pawn shops in. So we're doing all the internal electrical and all this. And when it came time to put all their computers and stuff online, they had their IT specialists come from Texas to Georgia to go to each one of these stores that were either renovated or newly built to do the IT connect. My boss at the time put me with this guy to go to each one of the stores in the state of Georgia to make these connections, because I had to run a power source for the switch or whatever it was at the time, for the modems that they was connecting, to connect all this stuff. I learned so much from that man in that period of time about high-end electronics. I learned how to work on CD players, and at the time, CD players, VCRs, DVDs. I mean, he taught me all this stuff. He taught me how to do this, camcorders. I learned all that from this man in a short period of time. I started, when I got laid off from that electrical company, I started my own electronics repair business. And I called it PS Electronics. That was like in 1994. You know what I mean? I got my electrical license in 1998. Started my first electrical company in 1999, just to put it in perspective. So, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, I'm not new to the game. I'm true to the game. I know it sounds like that's some corny, lame rhyming, but okay, it is what it is. But at the same time, I've learned a long, hard lesson on really how to get business right. And I'm still learning. You know what I mean? So I'm thankful for the people, for my network today, the people that I sit around the table with, like Rochelle and Lamar and a few others who will come, who will be named shortly enough to get what I get. You know what I'm saying? To get to this point. So that's all I got to really talk about right now, man. I mean, it's all good. Unless you want to show up, tell them about the book club.
No, we'll say that for our follow-up. The biggest thing right now, we just need people to get out here and get it, because don't wait till January 1st. Get on your programs now, please. That's all I can say, because you always hear people say, oh, I wish if I had started this a while ago, I should have started 10 years ago. I should have. Let me tell you something. You start when you're ready to start, but the key is don't stop. period. Start when you're ready to start. Change your circle. Make sure you're surrounded by people who are as driven as you. Make sure you're not the smartest person in the room, because you got a lot to learn, just like I do and Terry. And constantly strive for that knowledge. And then above all else, and this is something I see a lot of people do, apply it. Don't buy the course and don't go through the course. I myself am sitting, was looking up there. I was like, dang it, I got these courses. I need to go. I done missed this. I'm struggling. Then you ever buy a book or buy some or get some and you don't read the instructions, try to put it together, then wonder what's wrong. Then you take 4 minutes after it done whoop your butt to sit down and read the instructions and be like, damn, I was supposed to put it in this way. I mean, we all do. This is just human nature. The point is, don't beat yourself up. Just be human and adjust. And if COVID didn't, C-19 didn't show anybody anything, it should have damn showed you how to adjust your game. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all I got, man. That's all I got for them tonight.
Hey, it is what it is.
So thank you again for wrapping up part 2, sir. I will see you next month, because this is going to be our monthly thing. Talking with Tara, because, I really appreciate you sharing this with the public and with all our viewers. Like I said, the sky's the limit, man. And that right there, investing here, y'all better listen to them. This here, what grandma say, they can't take this from you. You better recognize. And with that said, Ms. Ward is going to sign off, and I'm going to say salute to all my solid steppers and tech to Titans.
Deuces.
Thank you, sir. Have a great night. Enjoy, everybody.
All right, peace.
Peace.